I have now transported 2 lawnmowers using the winch now. So the first one was a 0 turn. I think I told you about the 0 turn. Got it up here. Now, he delivered the lawnmower, but I took it back to his house. So then I had to get a Cub Cadet, went and picked it up. It was a big deck. It didn't fit in the back. It's a 50-inch. And if I really push it, I can slide the 50-inch in, but it doesn't want to come out. So then you got to hook the beast up to the back of the lawnmower and yank it out of the back of the truck. So it kind of hangs off the tailgate a little bit. But this thing has changed the game. I know everybody's a game changer, but it has. It really is a... it worked better than I expected it to. I really didn't think it would. I knew it'd work, but not as well as it is. I tried to really think it through. So you can lift it up, and then when the mower gets up to the front wheels of the mower get up to the tailgate, it starts to lift the front wheels off the truck and kind of picks it up instead of dragging it onto the tailgate. It picks it up, the front wheels off the ground. And that keeps the deck from scraping up against the tailgate and getting jammed up. Now, I thought that through. That's why I put it on a pivot like this. Dad and I talked about how we were going to build this, and originally we were just going to put it right here underneath the Cyclops light. But I really didn't think that was high enough. And I didn't think it was far enough back. I mean, in order to have gotten it to work up here, it would have been way up in the air and it would have been a huge wind drag. But here, it's maybe 5 foot, I don't know, 4 foot, 5.5 feet, 4.5 feet, something, I don't know. So, but it's the perfect angle. This worked perfect. The thing is if it didn't work, I could cut the feet off the boards down here a little bit, and it would have went up even higher and further back. So, I mean, this was my first try, and it worked out perfectly. But you can see the reason I did it was, well, I guess I did cut it a little short. My ideal was to cut it so it would clear that right there. So I guess it was a little short, but in the end it still works. And I got it to so now it will stay up instead of breaking everything I put on it. The other day you saw me put these screws on, and that seems to be working pretty good. So the only downside to this is trying to keep it up in the up position when you don't have any tension on the cable. So you got to use a board or something to hold it up. But it's working great. And the customers seem to think it's kind of a nifty idea. The guy with the 0 turn really didn't understand how I was going to get his 0 turn into the back of my truck. But he allowed me to do it because he didn't want to hook his trailer up, is what I'm kind of guessing. So I did it, and when I got it over there, I mean, he was just absolutely fascinated by it. He thought it was a great idea. So, and before, I was always looking to see if I could get the back end of the truck to drop down a little bit, you know, back into a ditch or something like that, so it wasn't so high off the ground, causing that drag on the tailgate. So, but now I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't matter what the angle is or how high off the ground it is. The ramps only serve to help guide it up, basically. Otherwise, honestly, if I wasn't worried about the destruction that would occur, I could just pull it up. It would, I think, actually pull up on its own. You know, just dangle it in from the air. So I love this thing. So I was talking to Carolyn about the Beast. I told you the other day that we're going to put one on the Beast. And I got to thinking, you know, I don't know. I just don't know if I really want it on the Beast. Is it a waste of money? I mean, it's $55, whatever it is, $60. And, I mean, I want it, but would I ever get to use it? And then I reconsidered. In the video, I told you I was going to put it in the front. But I've reconsidered. I'm going to put it in the back. And I think in the back, it would actually serve more functions than it would in the front. In the back, you know, I could use it to tow lawnmowers around. I could just zip it out, hook up. I wouldn't have to carry straps and ropes and everything. The other thing I thought is sometimes I want to lift back ends of mowers up. so I can work on the back end. Now I got that lift and it does okay, but I would prefer to have it off the ground. Well, if I had the beast and a pulley system, like, I don't know if you can see that pulley right there, I might be able to figure out a way to secure the beast down and then wrap that cable from the beast around the cable down to the lawnmower I want to lift up and lift up the back end. I mean, the beast is heavier than typical lawnmower, so that could be feasible. Granted, I got to be careful that the beast doesn't lift up on the front end, on the back end. But if it did, yeah, it might balance out. You got to think about it. You'd have the beast sitting at it up with the wheels off the ground, back wheels off the ground. You'd have the other lawnmower with the back wheels off the ground. It still would work. So, but I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's the best option. I'll give that a try. The other thing is then I could go out in the woods with the beast without worrying about getting stuck. I got the beast pinned down there into the wood pile the other day. I had another mower in front of him. I couldn't get it out. And I wanted to just drive the beast over the small stack of wood. I mean, it was only, but it got hung up. But if I had that winch, I could have just pulled myself right over that stack of wood and caused myself a lot less work. But I really like this. It's only 2,000 pounds. And I know it's not enough to pull the truck. But maybe if you got stuck or, you know, in a bad spot, you know, you're just spinning your wheels, but you're not really stuck. You're just kind of spinning your wheels. This might be able to get you out of that stuck spot. I mean, it's happened before. I remember one time we went to get a load of wood, and the wheels started spinning this loose gravel. And I just needed something, just a little bit of oomph to get us going. And I didn't have it. If I'd have had this, I could have hooked it up to a tree or something, put the truck in reverse, and between the truck and the winch, it would have been enough to get us out of that. We wouldn't have needed to get a tow truck. But what are you gonna do? So I think this would help. The other thing is this has a breaker on it that if it's pulling too much weight, it will stop. So it's not like you're gonna hurt it. The only thing I would worry about is my structure strong enough to handle it? And I don't know. Of course, if you broke the structure, it really wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, you just fix it. So anyway, so today I was really proud of myself. I'm getting aggravated with Amazon. This is like the 4th package where they failed to deliver it on the day they said they were going to deliver it. Amazon, not UPS or USPS or anything. It was Amazon. Since UPS has stopped or reduced the amount of shipments it's making for Amazon, Amazon is now bringing packages down here to the post office, and then the post office delivers it to us. Amazon is really having a problem with this. They are struggling. They said the parts would be here today, and they weren't. And I knew they weren't. It didn't get to Kansas City until 5:30 this morning. Well, how is it going to get from Kansas City to here by 7:30 when normally the packages leave Kansas City at 3:30 in the morning? So I knew that the guy had already left and was down here, and by the time the packages arrived at Kansas City. So, I mean, by 10 o'clock, Amazon's sending me a message saying, well, you're not going to get your packages today. There's a processing error. Well, they did that the other day. I was looking for an air filter. That's all I needed was an air filter. And I bought some Primatene Mist also. It was supposed to be here. Well, it didn't come. So, now get this. This is what's so strange. They went ahead and sent a second package out of the stuff that I ordered. So I got the second package within a few days, late from the original date, but got it. Well, I didn't need it anymore. I'd already ordered another air filter because that one, and I couldn't cancel it. They wouldn't let me cancel it. So I ordered another air filter and I got it, and I went ahead and used the air filter that I got. So now I got this package with the air filter that I don't need now, and the Primatene Mist. Well, then the package that they lost showed up. So now I have 2 Primatene Mist and 2 packages of air filters that I'm never going to use. It's for Tecumseh. Tecumseh went out of business years ago. I mean, I might use one every couple of years, but not very often. So today, I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it. I ordered a carburetor for the lawnmower that I worked on today, the one I just returned today. I ordered a carburetor because it's just cheaper. Now, when I give an estimate, I give a range. I'll say 70 to, 50 to $75, or, 75 to $100. That gives me a little leeway in case something goes wrong. I don't have to run back to the customer and ask permission for an additional 25 bucks. And it's really served me well. It's helped out a lot. And even when I make calculation errors, which I do quite frequently, for some reason I do. For example, I didn't tack on transportation costs on that. And I don't know why. So, I just make mistakes, but I still come out ahead when I'm doing this, 50 to 75 or, 75 to 100 bucks, whatever it is. So if I'd ordered the carburetor, the price would have been lower. It would have been towards the bottom of that range that I give. But he needed that mower today. He wanted it today. Now, he said that Friday. Is there any way you can get it here by Monday? And I said, well, yeah, if the parts come in, I'll get it to you by Monday, I promise. He says, when the parts due? And I said, they're due here Monday, and I will work on it as soon as the parts come in. I promised him that. Well, of course, they didn't show up. So I went ahead and disassembled the carburetor, took it off, and cleaned it. The problem is just like I would have expected, all the bolts were so tight you couldn't get them off, and it was terrible. The starting solenoid was rusted shut. So I spent a lot of time cleaning this carburetor when it would have been faster and cheaper just to put a new one on it. But I gave him that range, and he was okay with the range. So I figured, you know what? The range is in case something goes wrong, and here it is, something went wrong. So I had to spend extra time cleaning and rebuilding that carburetor. And the nice thing is I got all profit out of that. I'll return that other carburetor. I'm so mad at Amazon, I'm figuring, you know what, if you're going to make me do all this extra work, I'm just going to go ahead and return it. I'm not going to keep it for inventory or for the next lawnmower or anything. I'm just going to return it. So I made a lot of money today by Amazon messing up. I'm just not going to deal with Amazon. I mean, obviously I'm going to order from Amazon, but I'm just not going to tolerate this behavior that they keep running into. And it seems like they run into it every summer. Last year it was the same way. As soon as it started getting hot and we got busy, they kept messing up. So, but I also got 2 push mowers, and this guy, I wish he would pick up his stuff faster. He's notorious for waiting and waiting and waiting for picking up his stuff. But he brings so much to me, I don't want to tell him no. So, but that's another good price there, except there's so much in parts on that one, that weed eater. But I got 2 push mowers. They're identical. One's a little bit older than the other, but they're absolutely identical. One, the governor spring was in the wrong spot. I just had to move it, and it ran fine. So I'll service that one on the right, and then the one on the left needs an ignition coil, and I had to weld some screw bolts that I guess they were kind of like tacked on or glued on, so they were just sitting there spinning. So you were trying to get the nuts or the bolts out, and the nuts would just sit there and spin. So I had to weld those back on. So I'm going to end up charging quite a bit for that older push mower. He's also got a belt or a pull rope he wants changed on that, so that'll be a little bit of money. But once again, we've slowed down. It's feast or famine around here, and it's always that way. Either everybody's bringing their lawnmowers over at the same time, or nobody's bringing their lawnmowers over, and I just don't understand it. It's really mind-boggling. Got a call today about a push mower, but I seriously doubt if he'll bring it over. I just don't think he was that interested in getting it fixed. He really wanted a belt, and I don't carry an inventory. And somebody asked me about that the other day. Why don't you carry an inventory? I don't carry inventory because your overhead costs would go up. You got to store all that stuff. You got to have the money to buy it all. You would end up having to charge more to have all that available for overhead costs. I don't have any overhead costs. I don't even have an electric bill. So I can charge less, and I tell everybody that. For the poor folks around here, I don't have overhead. I don't have inventory. So the folks around here can afford me. And everybody gets it. They understand. And I try to guide them in an area where they can, you know, look up online where to get one. So, if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was working on something on my other channel. So, if I can inspire you to do it yourself so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.